Welcome, bienvenidos to the official NIL Hispanic podcast. So I'm Juan Pablo, and I'm a former student athlete at UCLA and Harvard, and I'm going to be co-hosting with
Moira Garcia. I'm a current third year at UCLA, and we're super excited to have our amazing Latino from Boston College.
Juan. Why don't you tell us what your name is?
Well, my name is Juan. As you said, my last name is Zabal Alonso. My mom always gets mad at me if I don't say her last name too. So Zabal Alonso.
Yeah, gotta give credit where credit is due. So, Juan, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? Where's home for you right now?
Okay, so I was born and raised in Mexico City. All my family still lives there. Like when I go home, I go back to Mexico. I started playing football around sixth grade.
I guess for anybody that might be curious, where in La Ciudad de Mexico, what part?
So I was born in Observatorio, but I was when I was a kid, like growing up, I was in Santa Fe, and then I moved to Interlomas for the ones
Okay.
that know.
You
Awesome.
know, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
you know, you know. So I think one of the really exciting things is that Juan hasn't mentioned yet, but he's a football player. He plays at Boston College. He's part of the ACC, one of the power conferences in the United States. Obviously, Juan was just mentioning, he grew up in Mexico. How did you end up getting into football? How did that happen? Because I feel like maybe most moms and dads would probably be like, ponte a jugar football instead of American football, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's how I started. I my mom since growing up put me in all the sports. So like I did water ski, karate, like everything you can imagine. I also played football, soccer. I was just really bad at it. Um, I played defense mostly. I was a little bit over aggressive, so my coaches didn't used to like that. But then I just literally just wanted to hang out with all my friends. I texted him like, "Hey, like, what are you doing today?" He said, "Sorry, I can't. I have football practice." And he was like, "You can call me if you want." I'm like, "Okay, I'll go. Why not? Like, try it out, try a new sport out." I went to that practice. It was all conditioning, and we only did conditioning drills, but it was like football conditioning drills, so it's different.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just fell in love with it. I stuck with it.
Wow, that's how you know you're built different when you fall in love with football and conditioning
I
day.
know.
So,
Like the ugliest part of the sport,
It
like the
literally,
punishment, the punishment.
yeah.
so how old were you then when you started then? You said you were pretty young?
Yeah, it was around sixth grade, fifth grade, like going into prep. I don't know how to, like the equivalent to middle school.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think I saw on your Instagram like you had a couple highlights of you just like running through the line and just like running a tutter for like 60 yards or something. Was that in high school in Mexico or middle school in Mexico?
Yeah, I used to be a running back. I used to be a running back.
Wow, that's how you know you're gonna be a good linebacker. Um, okay, and then so how did it kind of start to follow up where you're an over aggressive soccer player turned football player now, and how did you end up at the States?
Well, I started being a little bit better than the kids I was playing. I was bigger, I was faster, I was stronger, and I wanted more. Like the competitor in me was like, I need more competition, you know? And I was like, well, where is the best football in the US? But you know how there's football states like Florida's a good football state, Texas is good. I had no clue that was a thing. So I thought, why not? I just look up best football boarding schools in the US, and a school in Vermont popped up,
Wow.
and they won the state championship the year before. So I was like, oh, they must be good.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
So I actually ended up going to that school for my freshman year.
Wow.
It was the middle of nowhere, Vermont. I was the only Mexican in my class. Like it was, but I had fun. It was a good year. I was the only freshman on varsity, and by then I didn't even know college football was a thing. Like I really didn't know it existed.
You were
I couldn't.
just
You're
I
you
just
just
couldn't.
playing for the love of the
yeah,
game.
you were
Like,
just
I
out
couldn't
there.
name a single college team
Mhm.
my freshman year of high school.
Wow.
So after that, I ended up going back home for sophomore year, and then sophomore year is when COVID hit, and it was my decision of like, what am I gonna do? Like, am I good enough to play football, or should I just quit and focus on academics? So then it's where I decided again, best school boarding schools, and a school called IMG popped up. And I applied and I went to IMG for my junior and senior year. So that's how I ended up being in the States.
Wow. So you definitely, I mean, I'm sure that had to be probably a lot of culture shock, right? Going to like the Northeast in Vermont, coming from Mexico. Also the weather. What was that like?
To be honest, I love the cold.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather be in the cold than in the heat. Like when I was in Florida, I had to buy only black and white clothes because I would sweat it through everything else. So I'm a huge Northeast cold guy.
Right on. And
Yeah.
so you get to IMG. Obviously, IMG is like a premier high school sports powerhouse. What was that decision like that you and your family were like, yeah, this is it. This is a great move for you.
Yeah, at first my mom didn't want me to go because she was scared that I would go and I would not be good, and then I would be crushed because like I would just be crushed because I wasn't good enough, or like my dreams would become. I don't know, like I'm okay either way. Like I just want to know if I'm actually good or bad, so I can just focus on what I need to focus on.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're ready to risk it all. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, they were very supportive. They helped me, and it was like the make it or break. Like go there and see what happens. I mean, it was basically a way of like you can go there and then maybe you can see like about college or so it was more like a break it maybe like see test the waters kind of
That's the
thing.
waters. And so what was like a defining moment or like a really big moment while you were there at IMG?
Well, at first I was like I got into there saying I'm a running back. So I went there and said I'm a running back. And I played all my games my junior year I was on varsity and I played as a running back. But then one of the days I was sharing snaps with like carries with another running back. He was a freshman, I was a junior, but he was a 5 star as a freshman, had crazy off freshman everywhere. So like I was mainly like lead blocking for him. We were like two back sets. And then my coaches were like, we had a lot of teams. We had like post grad team. So my coaches were like, hey, do you want to play him with post grad team too? Because you can play up, you just can't play down. So I was like, yeah, why not? Thinking I was gonna get more touches as a running back. But they told me, oh, go with a D line coach. I'm like, okay, I'll go with the D line coach. And I played D line for the post grad team. So I would play Friday nights as a running back on varsity, and then I would play Saturday noon games as a D lineman. And then that switch, my coaches saw me play defense and were like, you have more chances of making it as a defensive guy than as a running back. So that
Wow.
was a moment where I was like, this is more for me. And then my senior year, I was a linebacker full time and I did great. And that's what got me to be the player I am today, basically like getting me to BC.
Wow, that's awesome. Because yeah, I feel like a lot of athletes, you know, they're so used to being at one position, and then making the shift is actually really hard for most of them. Except it sounds like, you know, guys that go D1 like you. So, what was that like then? So, when did it happen that you kind of were like, "Whoa, college football might actually be a thing for me"?
Well, at first, I mean, since getting into IMG, that was the culture. Like almost we had national, varsity, post grad, and JV. Which basically like everyone on national was already committed. Like everyone, I played with JJ McCarthy. I played with like a lot of guys are in the NFL playing right now with like they just got drafted. Like Jihad Campbell was my class at IMG. Tyler Booker, they're all like right now like first round draft picks. So, like it was already a huge thing. Like college was a thing. But I mean, again, like I wasn't getting recruited at all before because I was playing Mexico football. No one really recruited Mexico. Uh, but then it was real when I would just ask my coach, one of my coaches at IMG, I was like, hey, do you know anyone at these schools? And since getting into contact and talking to coaches, that's was the moment where like, oh, like this is gonna actually be a possibility for me.
Dang. And so so when did it happen? Like what was that moment where you're like, I'm gonna go to Boston College?
Oh, that's so I again from being in Florida, I was like, I'm not gonna go to Florida. Like my college search was okay, you have the whole US divided in two, delete the whole bottom half because it's too hot. Uh And then for living in Vermont, I had to fly to Boston every single time and then take a 3 hour bus ride to my school. But from there, I knew Boston. And then I knew I wanted a good mix of like great education and great education, great football. And I didn't want to be in the middle of nowhere town. Like I didn't want to go to like a good academic school, good football, but like you're in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing you can do. There's no good restaurants nearby. So from there, I was looking into basically the Ivy Leagues because they're all like in the Northeast, so like they're close to everything. And then BC. I told one of my coaches, like, hey, do you know anyone at this, and this schools? Like, yeah, like put me in contact with a coach at BC. And then I was talking to some Ivy Leagues, but then it was like, okay, Ivy Leagues, like it's a great education. But the football is FCS, like I would be competing, but I wouldn't be competing against the big names. So that was, and then I visited BC, saw the campus, the coaches, and just how it was. And I'm not a party guy, and we actually don't have frats on sorority, so that was good too. Um, so I ended up deciding, okay, this is the place I want to be.
How did, when you got there, was that, I mean, obviously you have to start over again. From leaving high school, how was that just like your social life and just getting there and having to experience college, the classes, football? How was that like load for you?
I mean, at IMG, the classes, like the schedule was exactly the same as it is here.
Hmm.
So with academics, I never had a problem. With friends, I mean, being on the football team is so helpful because before school even starts, you already have 100 friends. You already know 100 people at the school before it even starts. So again, social scene wasn't really a problem. The thing that was tough is I walked onto BC.
Hmm.
Like they offered me a walk on spot, and I was like, I'll take the walk on spot, thinking it was gonna be exactly the same, just don't get paid. But showing up here, that was the big shock, how different the treatment is for walk on versus scholarship in football. So that was the curve. That was what was tough getting into here, walking on basically.
Mhm. But then you managed to get a scholarship. So can you tell me, I saw the video. It was like an amazing, everyone's super hyped. The reactions are just like over the top. How was that feeling? Did you see it coming? I'm pretty sure it felt very like
Mhm.
you felt very satisfied after that. You felt relieved. Can you tell me a little bit about that too?
Yeah, I mean, since I got there my freshman year, it was a lot of hard work and a lot of pressure on myself. Like being at walk on, like it's so hard, like regarding the pressure you have from the coaches, from family, from just do every single day. But I took it and I decided to like I'm just gonna make the best out of the opportunity. And I didn't play at all my freshman year. I didn't play at all. I played one game at the end of my sophomore year, and then our coaching staff changed. And the new coaching staff that came in gave opportunities to everyone. So having my junior year ended up starting the second half. I started all of our ACC schedule, and was able to show actually like the type of player and the type of person I am.
Mhm.
And then during winter workouts, we did mat drills, and then we did did teams. And my team were like not show off anything, but my team we were grinding the most,
Mhm.
and we were doing competition. And my team, we thought we won the competition. So we had a team meeting towards the end of it. And first coach showed a video of me competing with another player that just came back from an Achilles injury.
Mhm.
So they start showing the video of me competing versus him in the drills. And I was like, oh, they're highlighting him because of he's coming back from the Achilles.
Mhm.
But then he kept going and then he just showed a next video of me. So I was like, oh, like now they're gonna talk about that my team won, that we won the competition because they hadn't announced it. So I was like, oh, they're gonna announce that we won. I was so excited for it. And then he just kept showing videos and videos of me. I was like, what's that? Well, what's
You're like, ah.
no, like I didn't think of anything.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we won. Like he just talked about the competition, how we won, right?
Mhm.
And then he says that we won a scholarship, and I was like, I couldn't believe it the moment. Like everyone started celebrating, and then I asked my position coach, like, "Do you know about this?" And he was like, "I had no clue." Like he didn't know. It was complete, like zero, zero. It was so unexpected. It was great surprise to be honest, because I'd always see there's so many videos like since high school. I saw videos of like the walk-ons getting a scholarship, like it was huge. And I was like, it'd be nice if that happened to me one day. It's a moment I'll keep on forever.
That's
No,
that's definitely an amazing story. I think for you, it sounds like you've been very used to like kind of this fighting adversity, climbing the depth chart, even from high school, coming to the States, doing it again and again and again. Every place you've gone, you've sort of had this kind of story of, whatever's next, you're going to overcome it. And so, what did it mean to you when you finally did get that the scholarship? That's a huge deal. Walk-ons don't get those that often.
Oh, really? It was so like relieving, fulfilling. Like I was able to like call my family and like it was basically a show of all the hard work that I've put in. It was just like I still can't believe it. Like it's very like I'll remember it forever. I have the video hardened on my camera. Like I won't. It was
And
it's
Mami, valió la
yeah,
pena.
yeah. What did your parents say? What did your parents say when you told them?
my mom cried. Like it was
Uh,
they were extremely happy.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody around the neighborhood was like, everybody knew a little bit more about you, all right? Your mom, dad telling everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, so it sounds really like you've had an amazing experience at Boston College. What has it been like for you? Obviously, the ACC has schools all over the coast on the East Coast, but now, there's some schools that might require a little bit more travel coming to the West Coast. So,
Yeah.
what's got you most excited for this upcoming football season?
Just like everything. Just going day by day, every game. Just the whole like it's my senior season, so I don't know if I'm gonna do a fifth year or not. So literally, I'm just taking every single practice day. Like I'm excited for every single day.
No, that's awesome. And what would you say is like the biggest thing about BC? If I was a guy that was like I wanted to play and follow in your footsteps,
Mm.
maybe I'm a Los Angeles guy. What would you tell me? What would you tell me is like the coolest thing about playing for BC?
Closing about playing for BC, to be honest, I think it's the people and the culture we have here. Because I thought I was premature getting here, and it's made me taking all the football away, taking everything. I did what one of my coach advisors told me. It's called the broken leg test. Like if you break your leg, right, and you can't play sports anymore, would you still want to be at that school? And BC is a school that I would definitely still be here if I didn't play sports. And it's helped me become a better person. Like a big motto BC has is like men and women for others. So I think that's really like people live by that. And people like I think we've won the community service award for the ACC quite a bit of times because everyone here is very, very just helpful. Like it actually helps you be better. So if
but
you
no,
want to be a person,
oh, I'm sorry.
oh go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, coming from Mexican culture, it's very united. Siempre se ayudan todos, like with your neighbors, it's all just like a very close knit. So do you think that's like a home away from home, just having that brotherhood and just knowing your people, like does that feel very like familiar in a sense?
Yes, but I mean, there's nothing like Mexican culture. Like I can't
Yeah.
speak Spanish to anyone in the locker room. I can't like. Well, there's a big Hispanic presence here in Boston too. So that's good. But I mean, nothing compares. To-
Yeah, and I guess talking a little bit about that, I mean, I lived in Boston too. I was playing rugby at Harvard, and I think that first year it got really, really cold, and then it just kept getting colder and
Yeah.
colder, and then snow started falling. I was like, this is different. This is very different than, going up to the mountains. Sort of what's that like for you? Because I remember the food is different in Boston. It's a different type of Latino out there. There's a lot of like Colombians, Dominicans. You go to the West Coast, there's obviously a lot of Mexicans. So what's it like for you? Do you feel that? Do you feel does it make you miss home? Like especially when the winter months come up and you could be having some other types of food.
Yeah.
What about home kind of resonates with you in Boston?
I mean, I love the cold. So being here, I hope I can't wait for like the first snowfall. I mean, we don't get that in Mexico. But seeing that, I do miss home a lot. But what I miss more from home is like my favorite food is actually sushi. And there's a few good sushi spots here, but not in Mexican food. Like I always tell people, if you go to Mexico City, you get the best sushi, the best steaks. Like you just get the best everything. But what I miss most is my family. Like I can't. I had two baby siblings, which I mean they can't come. Like the flight's too long for them. So I'm very adaptive. Like I'm not picky about the weather, the food, or anything. I mean, Mexican food here sucks, to be honest. But I miss the most on what's hard to adapt is just missing my family.
Oh, that's awesome. I know Moira has a question, so I'm gonna let her lead up with this one. But I do have one question for you, so all the Boston people can hear it. What's the lock? What's the secret, or what's the best spot for you for sushi? Where's your go-to spot?
Sushi?
Yeah, what's the
I
spot in
mean,
Boston?
Blue Ribbon sushi is pretty good.
Ooh, all
There's
right.
one called Oya that I haven't been, but I want to go. But I think it's pretty hard to get a reservation.
Whoa, okay. Maybe we gotta get a little
Yeah,
something,
but
going there.
Italian spots, the North End is a little bit overrated.
Okay, I can
There's a
see
good
that.
one. Do you ever go to Prima in Charlestown?
I have actually, and you're saying some statements out here, Juan, that's gonna get some people riled up in Boston.
Yeah. Well, Prima is the best steak I've had, like here, I think.
Okay. Hey, did you hear that, Prima? We need some. We need some. We need to make something happen over here for Juan. All right, Moira, go ahead.
No, yeah, you were just talking about your siblings. I was looking at your Instagram. You have your very famous hashtag, "Es mi hermano, no es mi hijo."
Yeah.
You seem very close to your siblings, and they get to see you just play. And I mean, you're a big inspiration. How is your relationship with them? Do you FaceTime on them a lot? Are you super close to them?
Yeah, I am. I like again, like they don't really know what I'm doing or like why I'm away. Like they can't really understand that I'm away. So it's hard for that because they also grow up so quick. But I have older sisters too, and I can text them whenever, I can FaceTime whenever. But the babies, it's so hard.
Mhm.
But actually, my little sister, she's 6. She just turned 6.
Mhm.
They bought her this little, it's kind of like an Apple Watch, but Samsung Android. I don't know, but she can call.
Oh, that's
Like
awesome.
she wears like little watch. Like whenever it happens, she can call my mom or something. I'm like, put my phone in her little bracelet. Now, like again, she doesn't understand that I'm in meetings, that I'm busy, that I don't answer anything. So when I see my phone, I get 6 missed calls from my little sister. She's in her little kindergarten summer school break, and I'm like, so that's so like, I love that because I can. Like she needs me, I be there for her. Calls me, hi, how are you? Like, are you bringing me any gifts? Yes, yes. Like it's hard, but like I make sure I FaceTime them. I FaceTime my parents when they're with them, so I can be as close to them as possible.
No, that's awesome. And so, I mean, I think one of the really cool things I remember looking at some of your photos. I mean, you got the Mexican flag on your helmet. That's really cool. I think that's really, really inspiring for a lot of Latino athletes. What's it like for you on game day? Like, have you ever been on the field and you kind of just do you ever feel it? Do you ever notice it? Do you ever kind of think about it that there's maybe not as many Latinos like you?
Yeah, I think from IMG, I think I know one or two other kids from Mexico that play FBS football, but I really don't you don't hear from people like from Mexicans play like actual like born and raised in Mexico playing college football. So it's a crazy experience that I get to be able to experience this like being on like going walking into FSU like the police escorts walking into the stadium seeing a sold out stadium like being on that field and just looking around and seeing all the people like that's something I mean that I don't think I've ever experienced so I didn't play this and then with the Mexican flag you see always the like you have the US so I was like I'll buy on Amazon so I bought on Amazon stickers for the Mexican flag and I see which ones does similar and just pasted it in it right next to it so don't tell the equipment manager.
No, we love that you show out. And so, what would you say to somebody who's a 15-year-old in maybe Monterrey or something that's interested in maybe playing here in the States, or some kid who's never really seen a whole lot of Latino players in the pro leagues. There's more every year. What would you say to them? What would you give them as some advice, if you were to say something to your younger self, maybe?
Well, I have two advice. One actually really good story.
Ooh.
One advice that I have is first, it's possible. Like I wasn't the most athletic. I'm still not like the most athletic kid ever. Not the strongest, not the fastest, but I still was able to make it. It all comes from like the work ethic and discipline. And then like if you're trying to get recruited or anything, just go on Twitter. That's pretty helpful. But then I was like, obviously my dream was to play in the NFL. And I started researching into it. And there's a new rule in the NFL that if you're an international, you can go to an international player pathway, it's called. And if you get through that program or you're just international, you know how there's like roster limits.
Yeah.
You go through that if you're international. The roster limit for practice squad is 16, but if you're international, you can be an extra seven. You can be that 17th, and you don't count toward the roster limit.
Wow, that's cool.
That's an incentive for teams to like have your nationals.
Mhm.
But a thing I wish I knew earlier was that the limit is you can only do maximum 2 years of high school in the US to qualify for that. So
Oh,
only three.
right.
So
Okay.
you're trying to go to the NFL for football, only do 2 years.
Only go to.
Don't do three. Don't do three. It's harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so then when you're not playing football, which is gonna be I assume your life for like the next 6 or 7 months. Um
Yeah. You camp for a whole month now. Today was an off day, so that's why I was able to do
yeah.
it.
Actually, let's talk about a little bit about that. How's it feel to just be like on the right before the cusp of like the start of your senior season? You don't know if you're doing a fifth year, but how does it feel that you're like you're gonna have the first game? How do you feel about that first game?
It's exciting. My mom is actually coming for the first game because she missed and she was like,
Oh.
I need to go see you. So I'm excited for it.
Dang. So are we gonna maybe if we see a ESPN top 10 play and it's you and we know
Hopefully,
why, right?
hopefully.
Yeah. Um, that's awesome. And so, yeah, how does it feel now that you're on your last year? You've been on this really long journey. You're living the dream every day. You're soaking it in. What does it feel like now that you got the beginning of the end, you could say, with round one?
It came by so fast. But I'm excited. It's gonna be a good year.
Yeah, right on. Um, Moira, what do you think is something that we could follow up here with Juan?
I just want to know, I mean, we know you as an athlete. What about you off the field? What are you like off the field? What do you like to do? What are just for fun? Just what do you do for fun?
I mean, whenever I have free time here, like after class, I'm doing classes.
Mhm.
I like going to yoga here at the rec center. So I do that. I'm a huge music guy. I don't like partying that much.
Mhm.
But if there's concerts, I would go to it. I'm
Ooh,
a huge concert guy.
Which
what
ones
type
are
of
you?
yeah, what type of music? What are we listening to, Juan?
Uh, so I used to hate country, but now for being here so long, I pick and choose like a feel of like pop country. But my
The
most
big one.
I like DJs. I went to Maluma. Maluma came
Ooh.
2 years ago, I think.
Mhm.
Went to that. Kygo came. Um, went to Rufus Du Sol not so long ago. So like that type of music, but like any type of concert, I love it. And then just food scene, like going out to new places, restaurants, trying it out, walking around, just like fun plans that you wouldn't think of, like we're going to a beach. Um, yeah, a
And
little bit.
so what is if someone was going to ask you what's something that people maybe would not guess about you? What's an interesting fact about you, Juan? Obviously, you're a very interesting guy. You got a lot going on. You're living in Boston, playing football.
Yeah, that would not guess about me. I mean, if you don't know me, you will think that my belly students are my kids because I like I don't know, they're my like log screen. So like that maybe my music taste. So like the way I am, because I normally like my right now I have a mustache, but I normally have a full beard. So people sometimes if you just see me out like just doing nothing and just see me serious, they might think I'm kind of like an if you haven't met me. And then I talk and I'm like all nice and they thought oh, you're not. My on orientation my freshman year,
Mhm.
I had a full beard then. One of a kid took a picture of me and said, "Bro is scary." I just saved it in his group. He just saved it on Snapchat. And then 2 years ago, that kid ended up being my roommate. And then he showed me the picture. He showed me the picture, and he thought I wasn't a freshman, and I was like that was such a small world.
You're
So,
just like a softie who loves yoga and food. Like that's you're not scary at all.
Exactly.
yeah, and good at childcare. He's helping raise his siblings, so he knows what's
Know how
up.
to change the diaper, so
We got a good thing going here for Juan. So Juan, now to kind of thinking about maybe what's next. What's something you think is kind of on the horizon, depending on if you do a fifth year or not? What's something you're thinking about for the future?
well, I'm graduating in December, so it's coming up pretty quick.
Awesome.
Well, I actually have no clue. Like it all depends how the season goes. If the season goes well and I come back here, or if the season goes well but I end up transferring, or it all depends how the season goes. If I stay, if I transfer, if I just done with football and start working, or the NFL, or it's all the options are up in the air right now.
Yeah, I think I read that you had a really awesome internship, I think recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what is kind of the things that you're actually, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're majoring in and sort of what you're studying too?
Well, I'm an econ major with a minor in business. Uh,
Okay.
I really interested right now like finance, and I did construction this summer.
Ah, cool.
I worked in wealth management last year, and this year I worked for a company called Suffolk, which is a construction company here in Boston, one of the biggest in Boston, in the US. And I worked on the office side of things. But they're actually like our field house where we practice is called Fish Field House, and Fish is the CEO of the company that I work for. So it was a really good experience. I was training while working, so it was a grind this summer. But it was a great experience to actually have a 9 to 5 going to work and learning something new. It was really good.
Awesome. Well, I think to kind of wrap up here now, Juan, uh, what is something you would tell yourself now if you were your 6 month version, end of the season, you're at a bowl game, New Year's Six for sure, and you were gonna give yourself some words at the beginning of the season. What would you say to yourself if you were looking back?
I mean, I would say just take like day by day. They just focus on improving like just every day, and it all will take care of itself.
I love it. Love to hear that. Well, Juan, thank you so much for letting us interview you on the podcast. We're so excited to see what's next for you for the rest of the season. Hoping to see a ton of awesome highlights, and hopefully, it just the camera cuts over to your mom and she's just cheering, and
Yeah.
it's a great time. But thank you so much again, and we just want to wish you the best from NIL Hispanic, and hope it's the best season yet.
Thank you.